Hey guys, it's Overlord with Team Mace. What you see sitting in front of me, as you probably already know, is the A&K MASADA. This is not my gun. It is a friend of mine, Bronco's, on Team Mace. It's his ACR. The gearbox that was locked up, he gave it to me to fix it, and I did just that. It's not completely finished yet, having some trouble with the motor height. But I figured I would go ahead and do a little bit of a review on it and tell you guys what I can about the gearbox I was just in. So first of all, you guys have probably already seen just about all of the specs of the gun. We've got the Magpul logo, ambidextrous, ambidextrous safety, fire selector, ambidextrous magazine release, ambidextrous bolt catch, a really freaking sweet stock. It's got a ton of positions, if I can get it out. Ton of positions. I think it has 8. Also has a cheek riser on it, which I'm not going to get out. Stock folds to the side. Why? I don't really know, because that looks completely ghetto, but it does. Okay, so on to what I hate about the gun, which is just about everything, actually. Let me get this in the mount here. Okay, so as you guys can see, hopefully well enough, first things first is the charging handle. It doesn't work. You have to put both fingers on both sides and pull it back till it clicks. Now, it is a functioning bolt catch, which means that it does stay open, but it's kind of a letdown. What I figure the problem is with it is that inside down there, which you probably can't see too well, is a little piece of metal folded around it. That little piece of metal is folded just a little bit too loose, preventing it from just being able to pull it from one side. Now, when you get it back, it's fine, but from the start it's not. Bolt release is right here. This is my favorite part about the gun, is the bolt release. It's just really nifty, but as you can see, it gets jammed on the way back. Gets to about right there, and the whole thing can turn sideways. So for mine, I don't know if any other people who are watching this have the same problem. This one could just be a dud, but a really cool feature that's just kind of screwed up. Another one is the magazine latch. It's extremely loose, and after messing around with the gun, I know why it's so loose. Nothing that can really be changed, but it's kind of annoying. Another thing is the safety, the fire selector switch. It's just incredibly noisy and resistant and a whole bunch of junk like that. It's just not uniform. Another thing is that in order to switch to the safety, your finger is going to have to be on the trigger, because if you look right here, when you start switching it, the other side bumps your finger. So your finger either needs to be down, all the way down here, or on the trigger. And the problem with that is that if I leave this like this and I flip back over to the other side, I can't quite get it back very well. It takes a few little pulls. So it's nice to have an ambidextrous trigger and everything, or an ambidextrous fire selector, but when you can't turn it and keep your finger up here away from the trigger, and when you're down here and you get to the end of it and your finger just kind of slides off the end, you kind of have to work it back. I mean, it's really difficult when you get the flow going. It's just, compared to a regular M4 safety, it's a pain in the butt. So on to the internals, I guess you could say, of the gun. Let's see here. Okay, grab my screwdriver. Grab the other screwdriver. So, handguard comes off to reveal the battery pack, as you guys know. It took me a little while to figure out how to put the handguard on, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too difficult. Flip up front side, as everybody knows about and probably doesn't care. So, to get the upper off, just take and just tap it out right like that. There's number 1. And number 2 is this one down here. Flip the gun over again. Okay, well, actually, no, that was not the right one. That was for the stock. If you want to take the stock off, you pop that pin out right there. If you fold the stock over and look on the bottom, there is a little screw. You screw that out, the whole stock will just lift right up. So put that back in where it belongs. Okay, with that back in place, we'll go ahead and pop, which would be this one, the one out that's supposed to be there. So. Okay, now with that out, the upper should just lift up, and it will have to actually lift away, but I don't feel like taking that off right now and disconnecting all the wires. What you can see though, metal. I've been in the gearbox, so I know what's in there. It is such an incredible pain in the butt to try and get into it and get it repaired. Please avoid it like it's a plague. Just take it to somebody who works on these things commonly. Don't even try. A couple of the biggest problems I had with it were the way the selector is set up. See if we can zoom in here and take a look at it. Probably not going to have enough light, but down inside there, you guys might be able to see it a little bit, is a gear. There's a pin that runs clean through the gearbox, and on both sides inside of the polymer body is a little gear. And it took me probably 45 minutes just to get the selector switches both at the same and both locking into place. It was a huge pain in the butt. Now, to get onto what's in the gearbox, standard metal gears, standard metal spring guide, spring, polycarbonate piston. It's your completely just average plain Jane gearbox. Nothing special except for the idiotic way that they did the fire selector switch, which is a huge pain, and that's why I'll never buy this gun. Put the body pins back in, and I'll show you guys how the quick detach barrel function thing works. Because that's about that, and the stock are about the only things I actually like about this gun. Okay, now with these back in place, go ahead and pop the handguard off. We have the quick detachable barrel. Just pop it down like that. There's this little button right here. Push it in, twist the barrel sideways, pull it up, and out comes your barrel. Just like that. That easy. This is probably the coolest part of the entire gun. To replace it, just slide it back into place. Take the metal lock, slide that back down, just find a way around the rings. Again, turn it sideways and lock it into place. And as you can see, it's not going anywhere. Now, thanks to the idiotic motor and the stupid motor height, I'm not going to be able to shoot this for you guys. I'm sure there's a bajillion other reviews on this that you guys can. This just happens to be a review that talks a lot more about the stupid gearbox than anything else. So, in conclusion, this gun sits very nicely in your shoulder. It is much lighter, much more sleek than the average M4. It's just, all in all, much more comfortable to shoot. But the fact that the stupid selector switch does what it does, the magwell, the magazine latch is really loose, and the darn bolt catch doesn't particularly work. You have to use 2 hands to pull it back instead of 1. Basically leads me to say that it is a $290 piece of crap. It's got serious potential, but thanks to the weird design of the selector switch, I mean, I don't know if it's a common design or something that they use in like G36s and stuff like that, but it was just the biggest, most insane hassle to try and get the gearbox in and out of the gun and back together that it just completely made the process of repairing it absolutely miserable. I mean, I've been working on this in little bits and pieces for probably the past week, and I've spent 3 hours today trying to put the gearbox back in, which I can do that in a half hour with an M4. It's just this stupid selector. If you intend to get it and let other people work on it, go right ahead, because you'll make their lives absolutely miserable. If you intend to get it and work on it by yourself, forget about it. And if you don't live close to a airsoft dealer or place that works on guns, don't even get it, because if it breaks, you can't fix it. Well, you can try, and you'll probably fail, because I just about did. All in all, really, really cool gun, a lot of potential with it, but stupid gearbox and a few other external problems just completely screw it up and make it not worth it. Cool gun to have, maybe cool gun to shoot, but cool gun to work on, definitely not, and the externals are somewhat of a letdown. That is it for this review. We will probably have more on the way. Thanks.